As you know, we migrated, the Campus Solutions migration have impacted many processes. So one of the things that the migration impacted is the data that we have in the system. We have not been able to pull all the data that we were able to pull in the past, or some of that data doesn't really pass or say quality tests, to put it in some way. So because of that, some of the data that you are used to have, say for example FTES data, you'll see that you don't have 1920 data for that involves FTES, awards, and I think there's a couple of extra in there. You'll know that, you'll see that because Juan included notes above on top of the tables, so that you know. And what's going to happen with those sections, for example FTES for 1920, what we did is that in your program review form you'll see that we rolled over your narrative from last year, because see, if there's no more data, well, there's no need to change the narrative that you built before. So if that's a little confusing, because it could be confusing, I'm gonna ask you to just send me an email with a question, or go to the Canvas shell. I have put together a couple of videos explaining that with more detail. So just go there, watch the video, and if that it is still not clear enough, you can just either send me an email or just use one of the forums in the Canvas shell to ask me questions. So there's that little piece, and I think if there are no more questions,
I have one more question.
Yes.
Related, it makes sense to me why we don't have data for FTES, but I'm wondering why we don't have data for awards.
So there were two things that happened in relationship to awards. The first one was that the system that triggers awards conferral was changed for Campus Solutions in a way that is going to make everyone's lives easier. However, it's not working in the way that it should be working. So IT and other departments across the institution are still fixing those issues. So that's why instead of giving you data that might not be entirely accurate, we decided to not provide you the data for now. So that's pretty much what happened. I think Claudia has a question.
Do we have this semester or this year data more on FTE, because that will help with determining productivity when we compare FTES, FTE, and see the correlation between the two?
So there will be FTE data in the dashboards. However, those would be released like in 2 or 3 weeks, and that's why the program review form is not requiring you to perform that kind of analysis. But if you wanted to go for it, you're just gonna have to give us like 2 more weeks until we have released the dashboards. I do remember, I think I saw that in your program review from last year, Claudia, and you did a great analysis. So I see how that's very valuable. So I'm gonna say first thing is that's not required. If we don't provide it to you, that wouldn't be required. But B, if either way you want to do it, because yeah, it's a great analysis, just give us 2 more weeks so that we can release the dashboards, and you'll have that information. But keep in mind that you will not be able to do the 1920 analysis because we will not have FTES data.